welcome you all to another episode of Know Your Alumni Season 2. Today we have with us Mr. AYON. He completed his Btech from IIT Kharagpur in 2013, during which he did an internship abroad. After completing his MTech in post-harvest process and food engineering in 2016, he joined PhD at NIFTEM. Further, he qualified ARS in 2019 and is currently working as a scientist at Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, sir. So, could you share with us about life of a PhD scholar at NIFTEM?
Well, I feel that every PhD scholar has his own unique experiences. So it's hard to really generalize how a PhD scholar's life goes. But as it said that uh, the life of a PhD scholar is quite hectic. It's busy. There are a lot of hardships, but still the journey is quite enjoyable, and the learning experiences is really wonderful. So at the end of the PhD journey, you sort of feel empowered, and you have gained so much skills and knowledge that you feel wonderful in itself.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, could you tell us something about your projects during this time?
Well, for my PhD dissertation, I worked on microfluidization of sugarcane juice, which involved the analysis of various physicochemical properties with varying conditions of microfluidization. Apart from that, I worked in different projects with brilliant people at NIFTEM that included neural networks, image processing, genetic algorithm optimization techniques, and even waste valorization techniques with a lot of juniors as well as seniors, which was quite good.
That's great, sir. So, what should a person interested in research field do to excel in PhD?
Well, for being a good researcher, I feel that you have to first be a good planner. If you have not planned your work well, you'll face challenges during the process. Moreover, it's humility always goes a long way. So be humble to your peers. I feel they will help you, you will help them, and you will gain respect among yourself. And lastly, gain merit, as much merit as you can. It could be through skills, it could be through publications or whatever, but that is essential for a researcher to be a good PhD scholar as well.
Thank you, sir. Those are some wisdom words. So, could you tell us something about the process of getting enrolled in a PhD and some colleges for PhD in food science field, whether it be in India or abroad?
So, different colleges have their different conditions and criteria for selection. For instance, at NIFTEM, if you have qualified any sort of net examination like ICR net, CSR net, UGC net, you will have to sit for an interview, and then it will lead to your selection. If not, then you'll have to also give a written exam followed by interview. Good colleges in for food in India would constitute, basically NIFTEM is also a very good college for food. Apart from that, there's IIFPT, of course, and IIT Kharagpur. There's NIT Roorkee, and some other colleges like HPTI Kanpur is there. And IIT Delhi has also started rural development program in which they uh, also recruit food engineers. Apart from that, in abroad, you can find like Wageningen University is there, University of Alberta, and there are Washington University. There are many agriculture and biological sciences divisions there where food science and technology, food engineering are being recruited. So anyone can look them up.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, what are the different career options after PhD?
Well, so you see, there are sort of when you go into the research field, you have to kind of stick with it. So, for the best, I think, possible option for a PhD scholar would be to join as an assistant professor. Apart from that, there's always ARS scientist, which is conducted by ICAR. If not, there are also senior research fellowships and junior research fellowships at different institutes or organizations like ICAR, CSIR, ICMR. So advertisements for SRFs and JRFs are quite continuous, and they have an interview kind of selection process. And for ARS, there is a separate process, and for assistant professor, there is a separate process. Apart from that, you can also pursue postdoctorate from any universities abroad, which is also a great option.
Okay, sir, thank you. So immediately after your PhD, you qualified ARS. So could you tell
Yes.
us about the process towards qualifying ARS?
Okay. Well, ARS is conducted in three stages. The first one is ICR Net, which is 2 hours exam of 150 questions, and you have to get a minimum marks for appearing for mains exam, which is the second step. So in the mains exam, it's more of a subjective kind of exam, or descriptive, as you can say. So it has three parts. The first part will have like 40 questions of 2 marks, and the second part will have some 20 questions of 5 marks, and the last part will have then 6 or 7 questions of 10 marks each. So the total number of questions is 66 written questions in 3 hours, which is quite hectic. But after you are done with the mains, and you get some kinds of marks, that marks is added with your interview. So the interview is of 60 marks, and the mains will be of 240 marks, a total of 300. So for the interview, the selection criteria is for every one seat, 5 candidates will be called. So at the end, it becomes difficult, but during the process, you will learn a lot, and this after selection, it's quite a wonderful feeling, I can say, that you'll get.
Well, so that seems like a really difficult road to go down to which you qualified. So, furthermore, could you share with us your experience at your current job as a scientist as ICAR?
As a scientist, it has been approximately 11 months now, around almost a year. And I can say that every day is a new adventure, because you're constantly learning from your peers. You have a lot of ideas that needs to be tested, and you get a lot of freedom to experiment with those ideas, which in itself I feel is a wonderful thing that one can get. So for a researcher, I would suggest that the field of a scientist is the best possible thing that can happen to them. So I feel great. It's thrilling, and I run with ideas every day. I discuss with my peers, and I suggest everybody to do the same.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's very encouraging and insightful. So, lastly, would you like to give a message for the NIFTEmites?
Well, I would like to share a personal comment that I felt after talking to a lot of people, that a well trained mind is always hardwired for success. So be adaptive to constant learning, as it would be a wonderful journey.
Thank you, sir. Those are some words to live by. So, would you like to share any of your personal or professional experiences?
After I left NIFTEM, I felt that NIFTEM is a quite important institute, you see, because the people at NIFTEM do not understand how much NIFTEM plays an importance in the life of food processors. When I came outside of NIFTEM, there were many people who wanted to go inside NIFTEM. And they suggested that the NIFTEM has a lot of good facilities, they have brilliant students, and why is it so difficult to get in? And since I joined NIFTEM in 2016, I didn't quite realize why it was difficult to get in. But then I understood that the process of selection is quite strict, and the quality of students there is quite comparable, I would say, to that of IITs and NITs, which I feel is a proud moment for NIFTEM.
That sure is.
So I would congratulate NIFTEM and the team, and of course your team, for having me here and conducting this interview. I hope this would be useful for our friends at NIFTEM. So that would be great.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and your journey at NIFTEM, sir. And it has truly been really encouraging and insightful. And I'm sure it will help a lot of students at NIFTEM. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.